Isabel Foy, your cheerleader of dreams. Hey, if you've never subscribed to this podcast, just push the little red button right there to get consistent teaching tools and tips to help you live your dreams. Today I want to talk about the key to reaching your goals this year. You know, the key to reaching your goals is determined by what you're willing to commit to. You'll never conquer what you refuse to commit to. You've probably heard that phrase, it only takes one diet to lose weight. Which one? The one you stick with. They all work. Just stick with one, right? Well, you might be saying, yeah, well, I've set goals in the past and didn't achieve them. How do I stay committed this year? And that used to be the story of my life, but I want to share from personal experience how to stay committed. You might be going, where do I even start? Well, I love this story I heard about the actor Will Smith. He said, one day this guy was visiting his house, and when he walked in, he saw this big glass wall with like 150 little index cards all over the wall. And he asked him, he said, what is that? Will Smith said, that's my next movie I'm working on. He said, those are all my different scenes, and I move them around to get them the way I want them. He said, every good movie has ups and downs and good characters, bad characters, conflicts, victories, things like that. And the guy looking at this said, this looks so complicated. He said, how do you even know where to start? Will Smith said, that's the easy part. He said, you always start with the final scene. He said, you decide how you want it to end, and then you work towards it. Well, I think that's great advice on how to live your dreams. See, this is how God works. God declares the end from the beginning. And see, that's what your vision board is. You're declaring the end of this year at the beginning of the year. In fact, Jeremiah said, God's plans for you are for good and not harm, to give you an expected end. So your dreams, your goals, your vision board is an expected end. It's what you want to see accomplished this year. So number one, start with the end. Start with the final scene. God even said in His Word, all that your eyes can see can be yours. So I think it's time you start fixing your eyes on your future. In fact, ask yourself, where do I want to be 12 months from right now? I like to actually imagine that it's December 31st of this year, and you turn to your friend and say, this has been the most amazing year of my life. Now, what would need to happen for you to say that? Whatever it is, write it down and write in the past tense. This is how I do it. I would say something like, I saved $5,000. I went on my dream trip to the Bahamas. Or you could say, I paid off my student loan of $7,000. I finished my 3rd semester of college. I sold my first home. Or I launched my ministry. I finished my book. Write in the past tense as if you've already achieved it. In fact, I love this about Oprah Winfrey. She said she always knew that she would be a millionaire by age 32. This was back in 1987. She said, in fact, I'm going to be the richest black woman in America. Well, 19 years later, with a net worth of $2.7 billion, she's not only the richest black woman in America, but one of the richest people in the world. And she admits that she made her fortune by setting clear, ambitious goals. In fact, I heard where one guy suggests setting an alarm on your phone for 3 minutes. That's it. He said this forces you to write your goals down quickly rather than pondering too long and then immediately starting to figure out, how am I ever going to achieve this? No, just write what comes to you in 3 minutes. So this limited time frame, it's going to force you to write down what's really in your heart. Number 2 is break your goals down. You have to break your goals down to increase your commitment. Here's an example. Most New Year's goals look like this. Lose weight, save more money, read more, get organized, spend more time with family, get closer to God, things like that. And these are great ambitions, but they're too vague, too broad, and a setup for failure, when all you need to do is break them down into practical steps. So, for example, a goal to read more would look like this. What does that mean? Read 12 books by December 31st. Break it down even more. Read 1 book a month. Break that down even more. I'm going to read 10 pages every day. See, it increases your commitment when you have a plan attached to it. Or a goal to lose weight. Instead of just saying, I will lose weight this year. No, break it down. I will weigh my perfect weight of 115 pounds. If your current weight is, let's say, 125. By March 31st. Break it down even more. How are you going to do this? Exercise 5 days a week for 1 hour. How are we going to do that? Take a dance class, kickboxing, go walk with a friend and make it fun. So break the goal down so you see how you can achieve it. Or a goal to save money, which everybody wants to save money. But if that's all you write, it's doubtful it's going to happen. But if you clarify the goal and you say, I'm going to save $1,200 by December 31st, break it down even more. That means I got to save $100 a month. What's that look like? I'm going to save $25 every week. And then think of ways to save money. You could declutter your house, have a big garage sale, sell some stuff. eBay did a report and said the average American has 50 unused items just laying around their house worth at least $3,100. So hey, you've got some cash laying around to help you achieve your goals. But to ensure commitment to these big dreams, you have to break it down into steps. In fact, one expert suggests that after you set a big goal, this is what separates the best of the best from everyone else. They said they write down 20 to 50 things you need to do to achieve that major goal of yours. And you might say, Terry, I don't have time for this. Well, I used to be that way, but do you know saying you don't have time to work on your goals is like saying, I'm content to stay where I'm at for another year. And another year. And I don't believe you are, or you wouldn't be watching a podcast like this. And remember, goals determine what drives you. So, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Number 3 is set fewer goals. Stay between 7 to 10 goals for the year. Most people set too many goals. I used to set like 43 goals and then I wouldn't achieve any of them. Well, you've heard the phrase, if you aim at too many targets, you miss all of them. So the top ways people lose focus is by having way too many goals to focus on. Research supports that 7 to 10 goals is the best place to stay. Number 4 is set your goals in writing. The biggest mistake people make is they don't write their goals down. Now, if you ask anyone how many feel it's important to write your goals down, pretty much everybody agrees it's important, but hardly anyone does it. You may have heard the story Dr. Gail Matthews, the research she did from Dominican University. She did research on goal setting, and she wanted to know what was the impact of actually writing down your goals. Do you really have to write them down, or can you just mentally have them in your head? Well, she discovered that the very act of writing your goals down gives you a 42% greater probability of achieving the goal, even if you don't do anything else. That's crazy. So it's worth it to just take the time to write it down. See, you can casually say, I'd like to have $10,000 in my savings account, but nothing happens or makes it concrete until you write it down. In fact, Darren Hardy said, I get to interview the most successful people in the world. And he said, I have found 2 common traits in all of them. Number 1, they're committed to continual learning, which is what we're doing today. Number 2, they have clearly defined written goals. So there probably isn't a person watching who hasn't heard the importance of having your goals in writing. But if you walk up to the average person on the street and ask to see their written list of goals, they don't have one. In fact, 97% of American adults are trying to live their lives without clear, specific written goals. But I believe you're changing that statistic. I know when I did, it changed my whole life. So one way to really increase your drive and ambition is to write them down for 30 days straight. Now, you might say, Terry, that's crazy and time-consuming, but I promise you it's worth it, and here's why. It becomes ingrained in your subconscious mind, and you develop more determination than ever to achieve your goals. So it's worth it to write them down for 30 days. And this works for anybody, no matter what your age is. In fact, I love this story that I read about a young guy named Caleb. Now, his dad had him start reading success books at 6 years old. He said, I'm not going to pay you to take out the trash and do chores that most kids do unless I want you to grow up and be a trash collector. He said, they're the ones who get paid to take out the trash. So he said, I will pay you to learn. So he said, I will pay you $20 for every success book you read. Isn't that amazing? So by 8 years old, his dad had him start writing his goals. So listen to what this kid wrote. He said, I will speak with Gary Vaynerchuk. I will do a TED Talk. I will do an event with Tony Robbins. I will make $100,000 by age 14. Then he said this, I will have 100,000 followers on Facebook. Do you know every single thing he wrote has happened? He's set to make $1 million this year at 15 years old. Isn't that wild? So I'm just challenging you, write the vision and make it plain. Number 5 is set a deadline. Deadlines are motivating. They create a sense of urgency. The quickest way to get your house clean is invite company over, right? We know that. Well, many people are afraid to set deadlines to their goals because they're concerned they won't make it. That's okay. You can move the deadline. So if you have a desire to write a book, you need to assign a deadline for chapter 1. Don't just say, I'm going to write my book this year. And don't make all of your deadlines December 31st because that just promotes procrastination. Just wait until the end of the year to get everything done. So set a deadline that's going to motivate you. Let me just remind you, motivation is what gets you started. Commitment is what keeps you going. So these are proven ways to help you stay committed all year long to achieve your goals. Commitment means staying loyal to what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Isn't that a good quote? You can do this, and I want to remind you, you must have goals to achieve your dreams. And I would love to help you, so send me your top 10 goals for this year. Number 1, for accountability, and number 2, so I can join my faith with yours to pray over them. So in closing, I want to just read this real quick from one of our YouTubers. I would say our subscriber of the week is Bethany. I love this. Bethany said, I'm getting on the way to starting my bakery because of you. She said, I'm about to sign up for my first farmer's market because you have motivated me so much. Thank you, Jesus. She said, 3 months ago, I never would have thought I'd be following so many dreams right now until I went to hear you live. So Bethany, I am cheering you on and I'm so proud of you. Well, to help you follow your dreams in 2018, I have a free download for you called the Isaiah 46:10 Method. Now, I want you to take advantage of that. It's absolutely free. This is a proven goal-setting strategy to help you achieve your dreams and goals this year. On average, 60% of goals get completed within the first year of using this method. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? So for more consistent motivation, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Find my handles below or click the red subscribe button below for weekly videos to make this your best year yet. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.